What's up guys, welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesFromTheCustomer. Alright, this story's called Terrible Vet Threatens Me for Questioning Their Handling of My Dog. This story is from a few years ago. I apologize for the lack of details, but my memory is only so good. I hope you guys find it interesting. I apologize for the length of the story. I had no idea it would be this long. That's what she said. My wife is an immigrant from Canada and brought her senior pug with her when she moved in. My wife is from a city with reliable public transit, so she never got a driver's license, which wasn't uncommon where she was from. As such, I had to drive her anywhere she needed to go, or we had to use rideshare or similar services for transportation. I'm a big guy. I played college football on the offensive line. My one soft spot is my fur babies. I've always had a strong connection with my dogs and am extremely protective of them. I've also been told it is hard to read emotions on my face. I try to compensate for that by exaggerating my facial expressions and tone of voice to make clear my intention, but still, sometimes misunderstandings happen. When my wife moved in, we searched for a vet in the area. We asked our friends for recommendations, but they were either having issues with their current vet or too far away for it to be practical. So we used Yelp and Google reviews to find a nearby vet that was well reviewed. The one we decided on was Chain Animal Hospital, located inside a popular pet store chain. Our first appointment for a checkup went well, and we were impressed with the vet we saw that day. We had a few more appointments and never saw the same doctor. She was still at that location, but never saw us again. We were noticing a few red flags. Things like vets that talked down to us when we asked questions, prices varying widely from what was originally discussed, our dogs stinking to high heaven after coming home from them, etc. Still, we continued to use them. At some point, our dog experienced an injury and started yipping and shaking whenever she moved. I made arrangements with my work and we got her in to see the vet immediately. The vet said she likely had IVDD. They prescribed her on steroids and pain medication and told us that she needed to be kept on crate rest for 4 weeks while on the prescribed medication. We asked when we should call back and were told if her condition gets worse. After 2 days, the medication seemed to be working and she seemed to be doing much better. However, after 2 more days, she got sharply worse. My wife made a call to the vet for advice on whether to bring her in for another appointment. They recommend that we bring her in for x-rays. We drop her off at the vet in the morning before I go to work. My wife takes a call from the vet in the early afternoon. They say that they will not be able to see anything on the x-rays due to the steroids that she's on. They ask her if we still want them to perform the x-rays, and she says not to proceed. They continue on from there to mention surgeries and other multi-thousand-dollar procedures and insinuate that it may be time to put her down. I receive a call from my wife, who is in tears, explaining about the call. I'm instantly pissed and point out that they knew about the steroids before recommending the x-rays. After work, I pick up my wife and head to the vet to pick up our dog, planning to have a long talk with someone about our situation. We wait for a few minutes before a woman in scrubs, we'll call her Lilith from here on out for appropriateness, sat entirely too close to me and starts trying to explain the situation. I'm very angry, but I keep a handle on it and ask her in very pointed language why we were directed to bring our dog in for x-rays, then told her that the medication they prescribed wouldn't allow for successful x-rays. Lilith stands up and tells me that I need to watch my attitude or it won't end well for me. I was taken aback. I have been very careful to not raise my voice or lose my cool. I love my dog and I was really worked up because her life seemed to be in the balance and they were wasting time and money that could be used to treat her and give her a better chance of being successfully treated. I'd love to tell you that I continued to maintain my cool and handle the situation calmly. That is isn't what happened. I raised my voice and asked for an answer to my questions. Lilith smugly responded that it wasn't their problem because my wife declined the x-rays, avoiding answering the question. I again rephrased the question and asked why we were recommended x-rays that could not be performed. I asked Lilith to give me my dog and I would like to check out. She continues to insult me and insinuate that she won't give me my dog without me paying. I had never planned or expressed a desire to not pay. Eventually, the vet on duty, who is also the clinic manager, noticed the commotion. She came out and addressed me and took me into the exam room. Lilith decided to tag along. The vet was very professional but didn't provide much of an explanation to my questions. During our conversation, Lilith continued to interject into the conversation with thinly veiled insults and sending blame our way for refusing treatment. After the third interruption, I respond to her, "Excuse me, I am speaking with the doctor. I am done speaking with you. Please stay out of this." Lilith leaves the exam room and walks to the phone and asks the doctor if she can call the police. The doctor looks back at her incredulously and tells her no. The doctor ends up stating options for treatment going forward, but offers no apology or explanation for why we are being asked to pay for an office visit without treatment. I end up getting my dog and paying for the visit, as I didn't want to continue the confrontation. I spoke to some friends, and one of them had a similar situation with their vet without the Lilith encounter, and had went to a new vet that was much further away that they had great success with. Great success! We took our dog to the new vet. They explained to us that it is entirely normal for IVDD to see some aggression before the dog will get better. We show the vet what was prescribed by the old vet. The new vet immediately got her in for an x-ray. The vet pointed out the herniated discs in her back. The new vet recommends we increase the steroids, keep up with the great rest, and decrease pain medication, with the reasoning being that the dog will be less likely to overdo it if they can feel some pain. I thank the new vet profusely and explain the situation with the old vet. The new vet chuckles and, in a thick southern accent, delivers this line that I will never forget. Well, they have their business model, and I went to school to be a veterinarian. As we're checking out, I'm astounded by the price. We paid the same amount at the new vet for x-rays, 4-week supply of both meds, and an office visit as we paid old vet to keep her for the day and do nothing. We followed the new vet's advice, and our dog had a full recovery thanks to the new vet. I'm fully aware that I could have handled the situation with the old vet better. It was a high-stress situation, but I take responsibility for my part in the situation. I've never been threatened by an employee of any business before or since. It totally threw me off my game. I just don't understand treating a customer like that and being unwilling to see the situation from the customer's perspective. As for our dog, she lived to be the ripe old age of 14. She made a full recovery and had a happy and healthy life for the next year and a half. We have 2 more dogs now and continue to use the new vet to this day. We're so grateful that he gave us more time with our girl. That is a sweet ass story. Old vet sucks, new vet rocks. Hell yeah, Lilith can go eat a turkey. Alright, this story's called Hotel Front Desk Attendant Checks Me into Wrong Room, Unaware Until After Midnight. Last Friday night, I stayed at a Holloway Inn. I made my reservation at 4 p.m. and checked in about 9:45. I get to my room and do the usual, order a pizza, shower, watch TV. At midnight, 2 women in their 50s open my door. They both apologize and immediately walk out. I had a little chuckle about it and let it slide. I figured the doors didn't automatically lock for whatever reason, so I flip it and go back to watching TV. At 12:15 a.m., I get a knock on my door. It was a different front desk attendant than earlier. Female, 50s. "I'm gonna need you to come downstairs." Why? "Because I don't know who you are, why you're in this room, or how you got in here." I get dressed and head down, a little agitated, not because I was going downstairs, but because of her wording. I give her my ID ID, and she says, the guy earlier checked me into room A, but had me go to room B. She says she's going to go ahead and let me stay in room B since I'm already there. Gee, thanks. So I walk back up to my room, undress, and hop into bed because I'm ready for it. At 12:30 a.m., the room phone rings. It's the front desk attendant again. She tells me she needs me downstairs again because she can't find my payment info. So once again, I get dressed, trudge downstairs, and hand her my card. She doesn't do anything with the card except read the numbers and check her screen. She had the information, just wanted to verify it seems. So I go back up and crash. The next morning, I go to check out, and it's a different attendant at the desk. Female, 20s.
How was your stay?
There isn't anything in the computer about what happened.
Yes, I am deeply sorry for everything. I can give you $10 off of your stay.
$115 originally. $10? I would think having two women walk into your room and then getting called down to the front desk twice all after midnight would be more than a $10 compensation.
She had you come down here? She didn't tell me that part.
I explained the whole story.
Oh my god, I am so sorry. I apologize, that never should have happened. I can knock it down to $75, but anything more than that, I have to get approval from the general manager who isn't here this weekend.
So I accepted that with a smile. Not the girl's fault. I'll definitely be writing to corporate this afternoon though. Edits. I should have mentioned that the employee that checked me in at 9:45 was new, according to the attendant that called me down. The hotel's putting people in the wrong room or something like that. Stuff happens, man. It's happened to me before. I put people in the wrong room and accidentally checked someone into the room that someone else was in, and usually people are cool about it, like ha ha ha, silly kid, it's all right. But other times they're less okay, which I guess I understand. But what OP had to deal with is a little bit more ridiculous, and I'm glad I can say that I've only done this a couple of times. Alright, this story's called That Ain't No Winter Coat. I recently discovered a wonderful online store that rhymes with florid. Gorgeous clothes that make me drool. Unfortunately, they make millions of other ladies drool as well, and what you see on Tuesday is sold out by Wednesday. I was on a mission to buy myself a new winter coat. Looked in their winter coat section and found a pretty coat in dark green with a red plaid liner. Hey, I'm Canadian. We can't resist a nice red plaid. After drooling for a bit, I happily placed my order and then proceeded to haunt my mailbox waiting for it to arrive. Coat came. Dude, this is not a winter coat. Green? Check. Red plaid? Check. Winter warmth? Maybe if I lived in Arizona. So I went back online to initiate a return. Final sale. Say what now? Nope. So I called their excellent customer service line and got the sweetest lady on the other end. I explained my issues and told her how if I were to wear said coat in February in Canada, I would freeze to death in 10 minutes. But fell off. After she finished laughing, she did some of her magical clicks and issued me a complete refund. Then she told me I could keep the coat too. Since I am already the possessor of a green spring coat, I have no need for a second one, so I happily told her I would donate it to our Freedom Kitchen so someone else could benefit from it that needed a hand up. The sweet rep paused and said with confusion,
"You would just give it away? A new coat?"
"Sure," says I. "Pay it forward and all that." We finished our call and she asked me what else she could do for me, and I said the dreaded Karen words. "Give me your manager."
My manager?
Yup, so I can tell them what a great job you did. She passed me up the line to her boss, who answered his line rather nervously. I think he was expecting me to start screaming or something. Poor guy. After realizing I only wanted to say nice thing, he stammered he would give her many kudos. I wish I could say the actual name of the company here because they really are amazing. So they gave you a refund and let you keep the coat, and they act like you're super generous for donating a coat that you got for free. It's funny. Because that's what happened, right? She got the coat. She's like, "Oh, this coat sucks. Give me a refund." She got the refund. So she's like, "You know what? I'm gonna give it away." Even though she didn't even like the coat. I mean, it's fine. She's still donating and she didn't have to. That's a good thing, but it's funny. Alright, this story's called, If You Don't Know How to Use a Self-Checkout, Then Don't Use It. It's busy this time of year, I get it. But self-checkouts are designed to keep traffic flowing. If you call over the attendant with practically every single item in your cart, then you would have been better off going to a line with a cashier. I just spent the longest time ever with the maskless couple in front of me who couldn't even figure out how to use the pin pad. Like seriously, those have been around for 20 years. This couple pulled their card out before it had a chance to read it, then the register asked if they wanted to cancel their entire transaction. The dumbass pressed yes without even looking, having to start over. Look, no shame if you can't ring up your sale yourself, go to a cashier, not a self-serve register. Edit, thanks all of you for your great stories, and I feel for you if you're an attendant on these self-serve lines. My frustration seems to ring a chord with a lot of you. I really appreciate the award to my verse. Damn, OP, that sounds incredibly frustrating, especially since they didn't have a mask. And like, even if they're not obnoxious in any other way, just like going to like a store or something without the mask on when it's like required even, it's just like an extra level of annoyance. Just like, you know, their threshold is that much lower. It's kind of like radiation in Fallout 4. Alright, this story's called Petty Shopkeepers Made Up Dollar Fee Was My Last Dollar at That Shop. I just popped into a local shop for my monthly recurring purchase and a gift certificate for my friend. I grabbed a couple of other things too. The owner rang me up, then said, "Oh wait, I had to charge tax on the certificate." And I told them, no, it wasn't taxable, and the tax would happen at my friend's transaction when the items they choose will be taxed, and the certificate will pay the items taxed then. They seemed to understand, but then said, "Well then I'll have to charge you $1, because they had to buy the certificates. There hadn't been an extra charge until I spoke up about how the tax works. They even reiterated, "But I had to buy them," about the gift certificates, and I'm like, I'm sure there are a lot of things you have to buy for the business. I'm thinking, seriously? Do you charge people when you give them one of your business cards? Do you charge a receipt fee? Do you split the utilities with each customer? Anyway, I gladly paid the $1 on top of my $100 in merch and gift certificate to get out of there knowing that it was the last $1 I will spend there. Scummy business frickin' practices. It's literally charging a money fee. You're buying their currency and they're charging you for the actual price of the currency, not just the value. That's redonkadonk.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.